What if my favorite fantasy and sci-fi book characters played basketball? That's a real question I ask myself before I excitedly put together a good guys team and a bad guys team. Think of it like Space Jam, except with books I read recently instead of cartoon characters. And in this video, I'm gonna walk through both starting lineups and some bench players and explain why I chose these particular book characters for my squads. And also, I'm gonna let you know who I think their NBA comps are. And don't worry, this video is totally spoiler free. Okay, let's start with the good guys. Starting at point guard, I got Vin from Mistborn. 5 feet tall. She's short. Might be an issue. But you know what? Vin's always underestimated, so don't even go there. I don't even want you to mention how short she is. It's honestly up you even talk about her height like that. She's tiny. Yeah, sure. But she's insanely talented. I think of Vin's game like a prime Russell Westbrook. Quick handle. She's always like jerking, jumping around. But she's shorter. Yeah, okay. She's shorter. So maybe she's like Isaiah Thomas on the Celtics. But Vin has natural born skill, natural born luck too, you might say. But she's still first in, last out. While you're snoozing away, Vin is putting the work in at night. She's a gym rat. But, you know, unlike some point guards, Vin probably isn't gonna be the one running the show. But as untrusting as she can be sometimes, she's also proven that she is coachable. And she puts the team before herself. And that's the kind of person I want on my team. That's the kind of person I want as my point guard. That's who's kicking off this squad. And once you see our coach, you're gonna be like, wow, Phil, you're like the Sam Presti of fantasy sci-fi basketball organizations. I'm just gonna shrug and say I know, because I'm the only one who's ever done this, I think. Before we move on to the shooting guard, I have to address how much I look like Turtle from Entourage right now. So let's just give a moment of silence for that. How much I look like Turtle for Entourage. I will remember you. At my starting 2 guard, my shooting guard, I got Tau from the Rage of Dragons at 5'8". If you're wondering where I got the heights, I literally just ChatGPT'd their heights. So explosive, relentless. His work ethic is crazy. This dude straight up plays with the Rage of Dragons. My guy Tau has the Mamba mentality of Kobe Bean Bryant, except he's a bit more impulsive, single-minded, hot-headed, and probably somehow is gonna be more of a ball hog on the court than Kobe was. So he's like high-end Kobe, low-end Nick Young, but like a pissed-off Nick Young. But Tau is goal-oriented, you gotta give him that. And he will stop at nothing to achieve what he wants. Plays 110% all the time, practices 150% all the time. I just said Vin's putting in extra work. My guy Tau is putting in extra work, if you know what I'm saying. He wants the chip, just for revenge sake. And he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I'm not talking about ruffles. He's even trained extensively with his offhand. So try to shade him this way. Try to force him this way. It won't matter, because he's gonna cook you. Either way, his bag is deep. I'm trying to make these shots, guys. Tau would have made that. Small forward, Murderbot, 6 feet tall, silent but deadly, hyper competent, fundamental. Oh, fundamental. Fundamental. Ah, fundamental. Trying to bank it. Fundamental. Fundamental. Protective of his team, even if he doesn't want to be. That sounds like Chris Middleton, and I'm down with that. Yeah, that's a championship player. My dude Murderbot doesn't want the spotlight. No, hey, no pop. But it has quiet confidence that'll get you. It'll get you. I'm talking mid-range jumpers with the textbook form of Klay Thompson. You know Murderbot shoots like Klay Thompson. That's a robotic jump shot. Talking crispy bounce passes from the chest. Textbook. Bank shots. It's always open, even on Sunday. At 6 feet though, Murderbot's undersized as a small forward. I'm starting to get in trouble with the heights here. Don't even talk about Vin's height. Don't do it. So far, the good guys team's heights is more like a Division II high school team than an NBA roster. So once you see the bad guys team, you're gonna be like, this is gonna be a rough one. The good guys team's gonna have to get scrappy, dive for some loose balls to get this dub, because bad guys team's pretty stacked. Power forward, we got no one other than Darrow from Red Rising. He stands at about 6'5". I feel like he could be taller than that. Again, I'm just going off what ChatGPT is telling me. Darrow is essentially LeBron. If you're thinking about anyone other than LeBron, I feel like we're all on the same page here, right? Just a GOAT, a teenage prodigy who lived up to the hype and even exceeded it. A legend, a Hall of Famer, a guy that we're just honestly fortunate enough to still watch him play his game, still watch him in his prolonged prime. A physical specimen who carries the team on his shoulder. I'm talking cockback dunks, aggressive post moves, swatting layups, swatting that weak shit to the 8th row, and even an above average jumper. Darrow's consistently retooling, recreating his game to defeat his enemies, just like LeBron. So he can play any position. That's why we're slotting him in at the 4 here, because we need him. We need him in the 4. We need some height, we need some power. Honestly, we're desperate at this point. This team's short as hell. You see Vin? Yeah, I know you saw Vin. You were talking about how short she was. But seriously, just wait until you see the bad guys squad and their height. This is gonna be a David versus Goliath kind of battle. At center, we have a Peerless scarred Obsidian, 7 feet tall. This might be a reach, but we just needed a body. Really needed some height on this squad. That is a glaring weakness. That we're playing small by default, not by design. So I'm just gonna stick bro in the paint to anchor my defense. Lock down the rim, prevent them from coming into the paint too much. These Obsidians are built like tanks. It's like having Zildrunas Elgauskas down there covering the rim. If you have read Red Rising, you know which Peerless scarred Obsidian I might be referring to. 6th man off the bench, we got Severo from Red Rising, 5'7". Might as well just rename this team the Howlers at this point. But yeah, I'm just gonna unleash Severo on the 2nd unit and watch him go to work. Watch him just zip around and do several things. He's scrappy, he's shifty, he's relentless. He's an absolute wild card. He's Patrick Beverly with Allen Iverson's offensive game. And he low-key might snag Vin's starting spot. I like him in the Manu Ginobili role here. He's got handles like the balls on a string. He's impossible to stay in front of on D. He comes out of nowhere to get some steals. Just, you know, knock some errant passes. And he's got 3-point range that'll make Jimmer Fredette blush. Quick note before I move on to the last couple bench players and the coach for the good guys. I just wanted to say that I really wanted to pick some other characters from some other books I've read in this last year and a half, but I just left them out if there was any hint, any waft, any inkling of a chance to spoil something. I just played it safe and left them out. There's some notable people I left out from Mistborn, from Sword of Kaigen, from Project Hail Mary, from the Poppy War. I just didn't want to spoil anything. So if you want me to make a spoiler full one about maybe like a specific book series, I'm thinking Red Rising or maybe Mistborn, I could do that. Let me know if you want me to do that. But for now, we're gonna move on to the spoiler-free continuation of the good guy squad, almost onto the bad guys. Another guard off the bench, we got Mark Grayson, AKA Invincible from... He's about 5'10". This guy just has raw talent, good genetics. But between him and Vin, I got 2 teenagers on this team now. Actually, Tao too, I think. We got like 3 teenagers on this team right now. This might as well be a high school team with weird creep Darrow playing with them. But yeah, Mark can fly and is a legit superhero, so I feel like that will come in handy coming off the pine. And he'd be an absolute highlight machine, getting the crowd going like prime Jason Richardson, like dunk contest Gerald Green, Mac McClung. I don't know how well Mark can shoot the rock, because he's still a little goofy, kind of figuring out his power, but he is tough, and he will be a tough matchup for the bad guys. He's also pretty hot-headed and impulsive at times, which might be good to kind of like get back at the bad guys who are almost all the time hot-headed. At very worst, Mark's gonna tire out the dude covering him, because he's gonna have to chase him around flying, you know, like it's not gonna be easy. Or Mark will literally annoy the opponent enough to kind of like knock him off his game. I'm gonna say he's like a low-end Ricky Davis, high-end Gilbert Arenas. Feel like that's pretty good comp. Another guard off the bench, I got Achilles from A Song of Achilles at 5'10". Sharpshooter, this guy, he's the most athletic Greek to ever come out of Greece. That's gotta count for something. In my eyes, he's like a Mike Miller. Can't imagine he plays solid D, especially being so undersized. So I'm just gonna kind of stick him in the corner, drive in, dish out, get him some open shots, and he knocks him down. And you know, 3 points is worth more than 2. So these kind of guys are important. He's like a 3 and D guy without the D. Unless you're talking about Patroclus' D. Just kidding, that was weird. All right, I gotta add one more bench player. I got Udwak from Rage of Dragons at 7 feet tall. I just needed some height. He's decently skilled. He might keep Tau in check. And then for my coach, I got Kelsier from Mistborn. This dude's a player's coach. He's a charismatic leader who can get his club to believe in a cause bigger than themselves, like a Phil Jackson. In my opinion, he's gonna unlock our point guard Vin's full potential. That's kind of why I got her at the 1. I wanna put the pressure on her, make her develop, especially with a perfect kind of complement of a coach with Kelsier. Hoping Kelsier can work some of that magic with the other young players and even not butt heads too much with Darrow. Kelsier is a strategist. He's got bravado. He's a little cheeky. He's kind of like the fun coach, maybe like a Pete Carroll kind of vibe. But I think he's going to want to make this squad run through a brick wall before every game. And honestly, we might need him to strap on the sneakers because our team is looking undersized. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, but I'm a little concerned about that. So Kelsier might end up being a player coach, like a Bill Russell back in the day. Wait to see the bad guys team. It's like the freaking Monstars. All right, this is the bad guys. I'm a bad guy. Duh. That's every guy on this team. Point guard, the Jackal from Red Rising, 5'10". He's the brain of this squad. Incredibly smart and strategic. He's always 1, 2, 3 steps ahead. An evil genius, if you will, and you will. He's like a less physically talented Rajon Rondo. Like a TJ McConnell skill set, but with Grayson Allen attitude. He's a high IQ guy who impacts the game even though his jumper is a little broke. I wouldn't know anything about that. But yeah, you can't tell me this guy can shoot a basketball or that he even played any sports growing up. He kind of just did mazes in his room with his sister. This might be the bad guy's weakest athletic position, but he's here solely for his IQ. If he was a little bit older, he might be the coach, but he's too young. At shooting guard, you guessed it, another Red Rising character who I believe is introduced in book 2 though, Aja Au Grimmus. 6'2". Elite skill, incredibly loyal. Aja is your favorite player's least favorite matchup. This might be wild, but I'm low-key gonna comp her to Jordan. Jordan of the Michael variety. Killer instinct, cold, ruthless, surgical. She's a slashing guard, but she can put the ball in the hoop, so you want the rock in her hands as much as possible. Pass Aja the ball and watch her cook. You're gonna need a double, you're gonna need a triple team her to take her out of the game. And looking at her matchup against Tau, if we're gonna man up like that, she might be putting the clamps on him. She might be putting the clamps on Tau. I'm gonna be interested to see the matchup, but she might be clamping his shit down. At small forward, and this is where it gets really scary, we got Thragg from Invincible at 7 feet tall. This might be the X factor. This guy is brutal, ruthless, superhuman strength, terrifying. Imagine Giannis in space, but he can fly and he has a mustache. Thragg is gonna barrel his way down the lane, just absorbing any and all contact, and he yam it all over poor Murderbot. That is a tough matchup. We got 6 foot tall Murderbot versus 7 foot tall Thragg. Look at this guy's built like a brick shit house. Murderbot's literally just a guy. The good guys are gonna need to play some help deep. Maybe even play a zone, because one-on-one might be tough with these characters. But you know, Thragg can't shoot. If he can somehow keep him on the key, he might be able to take him out of the game. So we'll see. We'll see what the strategy looks like out of Kelsey. At power forward, we got Kharn Sagara from Empire of Silence in the Sun Eater series. 7'6". This dude is straight up immortal. AKA, you know he's gonna play all 82 games, which is rare in today's NBA. You just don't see it in the load management era. You're getting a basketball Chipper Jones with this pick. I just don't know how mobile our guy Kharn's gonna be because he's so old. He's old as hell. He's just got so many miles on him, you know, from being immortal and all that. He's kind of just a big body. High end, he might be like a Victor Wembanyama, but you really think, I don't know, if he's not, I don't think he's Wembanyama. I think Kharn's more like a Taco Fall, if I'm being honest. You know, stick him in the paint. He's gonna, he has a long wingspan. He can block some shots, but he's gonna foul out. He's slow. He can't really keep up with the likes of Darrow or even Tau. He's not quick. He's gonna foul out. And maybe I'm wrong with him being not so mobile, but I haven't read enough of this series to know if he can actually move. And again, I don't want, even if I did read, I don't want to spoil anything because he's an interesting character and you should read that book. It's really good. The second one. The first one's only okay. And then at center at the 5, we have any Steel Inquisitor from Mistborn, 6'6". Inhumanly powerful big guys, but also really intelligent big guys. This is Dwight Howard if you turned his smile upside down. I'm talking triple doubles every night, 10 points, 20 boards, 12 blocks. I know he's shorter than the small forward and the power forward, but in my opinion, Steel Inquisitor is just gonna anchor the D a bit better. You could swap him with Kharn maybe at the 4, but honestly, I just really wanna see the Obsidian versus Inquisitor matchup. That's a pay-per-view bigger than Jake Paul and Mike Tyson in my opinion. And on the bench, we have another Mistborn character, any Kolos, 10 feet tall. Just a giant brute. Sub this bro in and he's bringing a spark off the bench. Spark of blood and violence. He's coming out swinging like this. This is what he's gonna be doing coming onto the court. The bad guys are gonna use the Kolos like an enforcer in hockey. Just getting in scraps to up team morale. He's not gonna get you buckets. No, absolutely not. He's that guy who literally can't make a layup. But he's gonna rip down some boards, scrap for loose balls, and probably injure one of the other team's players. He's run our test. Let's be honest. The last bench player on the bad guys team, we got a point guard, Professor Poopy Pants from Captain Underpants, 3 feet tall. I just kind of added him to the roster for laughs and tomfoolery. But for real though, if he uses his animatronic body, he's like 20 feet tall. He could actually play center. So he could be a valuable rim protector. I'm thinking Sean Bradley. But if you knock him out of this animatronic body, he's just useless. So that's a risky run, and that's why he's not a starter. You can't rely on this guy to always be 15 feet tall. And you know, to start on the bad guys team, you need to be reliable like that. If Poopy Pants wants more minutes, he's gotta be more consistent at the end of the day. And the coach of the bad guys, the guy who's gonna be pulling the strings on this team, we got the Lord Ruler from Mistborn. He's literally 1,000 years old, so he's been around the game so long, he knows all the tricks. Straight up puppeteer. He's the kind of guy that you really need to manage the locker room. We got a lot of ego on the bad guys team, but the Lord Ruler, you know, he's got final authority. He has no tolerance for failure. You need to play your role in his made-up system to succeed. Clear-cut comp is Bill Belichick if he coached the NBA. All right. That's my 2 squads. Let me know which team you think would win this matchup in a series of 7 games and why. And let me know who your personal book good guys versus book bad guys starting lineups would look like. Because I thought this was really fun, but obviously I haven't read a ton of books yet, so this might be something I revisit maybe in like a year when I got some more books under my belt. Or like I said, maybe I'll focus on a specific book series and make a spoiler version. That could be fun. But yeah, while you're typing away who your book good guys versus book bad guys starting lineups would be, I'll just be here. I'll just be waiting because I said that at the very end of the video and I need to give you some time to actually answer the comment before the next video shows up. So I'm just gonna chill here. I think I'm gonna take some jumpers, you know, bide some time so you can mull it over. So personally, I think the good guys are getting routed. Gentleman sweep at best. Bad guys just have too much size. It's just gonna, I know it's a cliche. I set the good guys up for failure with that, but I kind of realized with making these lists that there is a size discrepancy with good guys and bad guys in fantasy and sci-fi. The bad guys are all units. They're all smart, shifty units. On a basketball court, how are these short little stubby good guys supposed to keep up? And that's coming from a guy who's short and stubby. Buckets. How your team's looking? Let's do the mic and drill. All right, I'm gonna pretend I'm the characters. So this is Vin. Who's next? Tau? This is Tau. Murderbot. That's Murderbot. Darrow. Peerless guards, like, I don't know. Something like that. The Jackal. Why does the Jackal shoot? You know he does the teardrop. You know he's always doing the teardrop, getting that shit swatted. Aja Au Grimmus, oh man. Pew, pew. She's, you know, she's like Kobe. She's just getting to her spot. We're quick. And she hits the jumper, that's Aja. Thragg, uh-oh. Thragg is just like this. Kharn Sagara. Steel Inquisitor. They're kind of like almost like Jokic. All right, that was so dumb.